About 2 months ago on this channel, I asked if Volkswagen's then recently announced IDR Pikes Peak electric race car had what it took to become king of the mountain in the annual Pikes Peak International HillClimb. Then last week, as the very same vehicle, piloted by Pikes Peak veteran Romain Dumas, continued to set the fastest times in practice and qualifying, it became very apparent it did. So when the IDR shot up the mountain on Sunday morning, setting not only a new record for an electric car, but also becoming the first car ever to climb the mountain in under 8 minutes, slashing the previous record for any fuel type by a full 16 seconds, I wasn't exactly surprised. Covering the 12.42 mile, 19.99 kilometre race and climbing more than 14,110 feet, that's 4,300 metres, in altitude, the record-setting time of 7 minutes and 57.14 seconds set by Dumas and the team show that Volkswagen's interest in electric vehicles might extend beyond just selling compliance cars, and that's a very good thing indeed. But wait, because Volkswagen's attitude to electric cars seems to have a bit of a split personality. Sure, Volkswagen is talking the talk when it comes to bringing a whole new slew of electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles to market in the not-too-distant future, and that goal should be applauded. On the ground, however, the attitude is very different. I've spoken to Volkswagen e-Golf drivers on 2 continents who tell me how difficult it was for them to actually buy an e-Golf in the first place. Many of them, Volkswagen fans, have owned Golfs or other Volkswagen models for many years. And when I was at the Fully Charged live event in the UK a few weeks back, I gave a lift to a viewer who told me just how difficult it was for him to get behind the wheel of an e-Golf to test drive it before making a purchase decision. In short, only a couple of dealerships in the whole of the UK even had a vehicle that he could drive, and even then it was what amounted to a very short trip around the block. And that's a shame, because the Volkswagen e-Golf and the e-Up, 2 plug-in cars that I've had the pleasure of driving for a week as part of press loaners, are both well-accomplished, well-built, fun drives. Sure, they're not blow your socks off good, but they're certainly up to par with many other similarly priced plug-in vehicles out there, if a little too highly priced. As I've said before, Volkswagen, like Nissan, BMW, Ford, and many other automakers out there, has quite a history with electric vehicles, having made a succession of prototype and limited production electric vehicles over the past 40 years or so. As some of you will know, I in fact used to own one, and in the interests of preserving the car, nothing else, I sold it back to Volkswagen for the same amount I paid for it back in 2011 so that it could be preserved in its heritage collection. It had stopped working and I couldn't get original parts to fix it. Having a fleet of vintage electric vehicles and a lot of promises to bring electric models to market doesn't count so much, though, when it comes to existing production electric models, especially when they're given very little love. Which brings me to the question, now Volkswagen has proven that electric cars can beat gasoline vehicles on the iconic Pikes Peak International HillClimb, what does that mean now for electric vehicles at Volkswagen? Motorsport has long been a way for automakers to test out new vehicle technology, as well as use race car wins as a way of creating an icon that customers will associate with in the brand. In the case of the IDR Pikes Peak, I think it's pretty clear, while the former may not be the case, Volkswagen partnered with about half a dozen or so specialist firms to build the IDR Pikes Peak. The latter is most certainly true. Why? The ID moniker sub-brand has been one that Volkswagen has been using for the last 5 years or so for a series of all-electric concept cars that it says will form the basis of future electric vehicle lineups. While Volkswagen has filmed various videos of its ID concepts being driven, and has even allowed select journalists to drive them in specific situations, it hasn't really demonstrated a whole lot with electric vehicles outside of auto shows and those concepts, apart from the aforementioned much-forgotten e-Golf, e-Up, and more heavily pushed Golf GTE and Passat GTE plug-in hybrids, the latter two, of course, not being available in some parts of the world. The IDR is the first time Volkswagen has really stood up and proclaimed, loudly, that electric vehicles might have a place in the future of the brand. Combined with its court-mandated Electrify America program, which, while initially penance for Dieselgate, has grown into a much wider electric vehicle charging program, complete with support and collaboration from many other automakers and EV infrastructure providers, it could be the real turning point for the brand. But, as I've said before, automakers who promise new vehicles can and will only be taken seriously when those vehicles are on dealer lots and are readily available. And I don't mean technically available, I mean actually there, to buy, everywhere. What do you think the future for Volkswagen is? Is it finally serious about electric vehicles, or is the ID.R another publicity stunt for a company still very much stuck with internal combustion engines? That's it. As always, hit the notification bell to hear the moment a new show is uploaded. Subscribe to both of our channels, and if you fancy it, support us using one of the 2 links below or by buying something from our shop. Oh, and by the way, why not enter our new giveaway on this channel to celebrate our impending 50,000th subscriber? We haven't quite got there yet, but we're nearly there. So we've partnered with Oscar and Hamish, who make tailored handmade luggage for your EV, to give Transport Evolved subscribers the chance to win a custom frunk set for a Tesla Model X or S. If you'd like to buy one of your own, you can also get a 10% discount by using the code in the description below. To take part, follow us on Twitter at Transport Evolve and Oscar and Hamish on Instagram at Oscar Hamish, and tell us about the adventures you'd go on with a custom handmade set of Model S or X luggage in your car using the hashtag #EvolvedLuggage. We'll run the competition until we hit our 50,000th subscriber, so you've probably got about a week to get your entry in. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep evolving!